The Magpies can win the flag. Ross the Boss has rediscovered his Midas touch and the Lions open with bruise-free football. Hello and welcome to a blockbuster episode of Fox Sports Lab AFL. I'm Ben Dixon, your host, and joining me to rip into round 2 of this season, Hawthorn champion Jason Dunstall and stats guru Paton. Welcome, boys.
Dicko, wasn't a great start last week, so we need to bounce back.
Oh, I can see the energy, and that is because we've got a massive show coming up. But before we get into round 2 matches, we're going to take a look back at round 1 and see what stoked Jason Dunstall's fire. It's time for Dunstall's Don't Argue segment. Now, I love when you get angry. It's actually therapeutic for me. So what set you off this weekend?
A couple of things. I've got to be honest. Players bumping, it just shows low footy IQ. Surely they've worked out that if you bump, you're in all sorts of trouble, particularly if you've got another option. Now, I get it. If 2 players are running for the same ball side by side and you want to bump, that's fine. But if one bloke's got the ball, why on earth would you bump him instead of tackling him, Dicko? You're just going to get suspended. And I heard Taylor Adams saying, the players need to look after each other. Well, someone's not getting the memo. These blokes are poleaxing each other. And we don't want Buddy missing a week. I want to see him out there every week. So for goodness sakes, blokes, stop bumping for... don't get me started on kicking around the corner in front of goal. That's a completely different kettle of fish. OK, it's the modern game. I don't want to be a silly old fart and not be up with what's happening. They want to kick around the corner. That's great. But how can you miss from directly in front? 15 out, Shea Bolton. Just remind me what the result of the game was again.
Yeah, draw. There you go, Shea. Nice. Al, just on that, I thought I was watching retro footy with the bums. I thought Byron Pickett was back just slicing blokes in half. What about the Shea Bolton one? The Chiefs just alluded to it. Like, the confidence to go, OK, I'm going to go in front 20 metres out, but I'm going to go around the corner and slaughter it.
Well, we know Shea, obviously, he's a super talented guy and, sometimes they have a bit of a licence to do what they like. But Bolton, since round 1 last year, has had 101 shots at goal, which is the 6th most in the AFL. But his accuracy is the 6th worst. So it's clearly something he needs to work on. Obviously, that one at the end, we all remember, there was a shot he had earlier in the game too, where he tried a banana from a set shot, and I think it hit the behind post on the full. If that had just snuck in for a behind, might have been handy in the end.
What about the Freo 5 flop, we'll call it, because we all expected Freo to come out and win, but he just had no impact. Did you? I'm surprised that wasn't part of your don't argue.
No, he will. Well, they've got to persist with him because they need him to play there. His days of being a dominant midfielder, when you consider the midfield they've got now, they don't need him there. They need him to have a presence up forward, which means he might have to work harder. He might have to just adapt his role a little bit, maybe come a little bit further up the ground. We'll give him some licence to get involved more, but they've got to persist with it.
He had 9 disposals and 6 clangers. No, well, I don't think I've ever seen Nat 5 play a game like that, and surely we won't see it again.
That was the average I used to get across there with clangers. Just with Ross the Boss, so 67 points, got the job done. Al, I'm going to go to you, question without notice. He just loves sitting under 100 and winning games of footy. It won't go far for where the Saints need to be, but what did you think of the performance?
I think you just have to work with what you've got, and the Saints don't have much of a forward line at the moment, so you just have to give credit to their defence. Now, Freo last week had the most disposals of any team, but they scored the fewest points, so that probably tells you a little bit about what they're doing. They maybe need to have a look at themselves, but credit to Ross and the Saints backline.
Let's be honest, it was a snore fest.
It was a snore fest.
I mean, great if you're a St Kilda supporter, you'd be happy that you got the win on the board, but oh boy, if you were looking for some sleep, it was a great way to get it.
So what's the brand, Al, going forward? Are we going to see the Collingwoods of the world, the offence? Because there wasn't a lot of defence played in the weekend other than the Freo Saints game.
Well, the teams that I think are going to challenge are the ones who move the ball quick. And yeah, exactly as you say, the Collingwoods of the world, even Carlton and Richmond a little bit, although they were pretty scrappy. But Geelong, Melbourne, I think that's the standard if you want to be playing finals, top 4.
Didn't you see the Hawks' defence on the weekend?
I wasn't going to go there, but if we have to.
Oh, that was bad.
I don't mind the babies. They're playing an under-18 team, which is fine. But it's the effort which really annoys you because Essendon just walked through. So can Sam in week 2 turn it around? Because that's a big thing for a young player playing list to be able to go, right, OK, we've got to switch on our defence. Just can't turn it on like that.
No, they were witches' hats on the weekend. So expecting better this week, please.
What do you think, Al?
Well, and the interesting thing is watching the Bombers. I mean, they obviously a great start for them, and they've got a decent draw early doors, but they played a very sort of keepings off, chip it around style, which is different to those, those top end contenders, I think. But we'll see how it looks maybe against Gold Coast this week.
All right, well, that's a cracking start to the Dunstall Don't Argue segment.
Footy is life. It's loyalty, rivalry, love and pain. Footy is everything. That's why we've made a betting brand for footy fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.